open for business in the last stronghold of Syrian rebels, but it's a struggle for bank staff in the northwestern province of Idlib. They are worn out due to the 9-year-long civil war, and the value of the Syrian pound has hit rock bottom. Adding to their problems is the financial crisis in neighboring Lebanon. They were an important source of foreign currency, but Lebanon has its own financial crisis as the government appeals to the International Monetary Fund for a bailout. In another blow to Syria's already hammered economy, new U.S. sanctions have been imposed. The Caesar Act targets anyone linked to President Bashar al-Assad. To hedge losses in opposition-held Idlib, the so-called Salvation Government, which is linked to the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham fighter group, started paying salaries in Turkish lira last month. Low-denomination Turkish lira is in place for commercial trades and money exchange.
The collapse of the Syrian pound destabilizes the prices in opposition-held areas. Civilians are suffering, inflation is high, the Turkish lira is more stable, and the exchange rate is not that high.
Areas under control of the Syrian National Army, which is backed by the Turkish military, started trading in lira earlier this year. But it is still not a full switch to the Turkish currency, at least in Idlib.
The steep decline of the Syrian pound paralysed trade and commerce in the liberated areas. Most of the markets, shops, bakeries stopped working. We want to limit dealing in the Syrian pound. In case the regime economy collapses, we're on the safe side.
Money exchangers say there is huge demand for the lira. Farmers in Idlib are among those who suffer the instability of the currency.
We sell 200 or 300 kilos of grain in the Syrian currency and immediately buy liras. If you keep the Syrian pound, it's half the value the next day.
Syrian Democratic Forces backed by the US have already pledged to stick to the national currency. Given the tension between Turkey's government and the Kurdish-led group, it's not expected to replace the Syrian pound with Turkish lira.
Pouring lira into Syria's opposition-held areas is being seen by some as no more than seeking a Turkish lira zone there. But it is another sign of Turkey's influence after Turkish troops were sent into northern Syria last year, causing international concern. Another concern is the fragility of the Turkish lira, which has suffered a major loss in value against the US dollar. But for long-suffering Syrians in Idlib under attacks from Syrian and Russian airstrikes, spending lira mean they are able to maintain some purchasing power. Sinem, Koseoglu, Al Jazeera, Istanbul.